Welcome to the good, the bad, and the ugly. Today's episode will be on DreamWorks' The Bad Guys, a movie adaptation of the books from Aaron Blabey, whom have the same name. The movie came out on April 22nd of 2022, directed by Pierre Perifel, a French person, head of character animation JP Sands, and written by Ethan Cohen. Hey, that's close to my name. Just need an H here and hey, no need for an early life check on that guy. Anyways, going back to the movie, it is basically a movie about five anthropomorphic animals changing their ways from heisters to normal citizens. Well, as normal as animals can get. There's not much else to say. The movie is very straightforward in what it does, sort of like the anime Ginga Nagareboshi Gin. Go watch the anime. It's good. I recommend it. Back on track, I first watched this movie exactly a year ago, which is why I chose this date, and I did not know anything about it. I believe it was Morshu that recommended it to me, so you'll see at the end whether I thank him or not. The art style of the movie is really amazing. The stylized look over a more realistic look is great, although given how a lot of movies nowadays go for the same thing, it is not a breath of fresh air. Except if you count video games, that is. It's not turning around anytime soon, that's for sure. And no, indie games suck as well. But back to the topic at hand, the art style is also helped with the very expressive animations, making the action scenes really great, and even just the normal scenes. I especially love the pedal switch. You don't really get to see such details in car chases, so anytime I do see something like it, it feels really good. Of course, that is not all of it. The part where we first see Crimson Paw in action is very well choreographed. I would have loved seeing more of it, but there is something even more special about showing how a heist rolls out. Or even the chase scene at the beginning of the movie, feeling like something you would do in either Saints Row or Grand Theft Auto. I prefer graceful fight scenes, but the other action scenes are much appreciated. The pace of them are good too. Well, the pace throughout most of the movie is good. The backgrounds also look good, even if it's not as detailed as what you would typically see in older animations. It's nicer to the eyes as well, since the focus will be more centered around the characters without having too much clutter behind them that would perhaps distract you. Although I suppose you could say that detailed backgrounds are fun to look at when rewatching a movie, but it is not really my cup of tea. The character designs are the same thing, they're really good and charming, especially with how the ears move for Wolf and Diane. It's nice to see artists actually utilize how animals actually move their ears. I would say it even helps out a lot to make the characters a lot more charming than they already are. The voice acting also helps out a ton. It stands as one of the pillars for this movie. With Sam Rockwell as Wolf, charismatic leader archetype, Mark Maron as Snake, grumpy guy of the crew that actually cares for them all, and so on and so forth. The humor in the show is mostly good, aside from a few ones that I will get to in the next chapter. It is really helped by how the movie does not restrict itself to realistic reactions. I mean, just the fact that the bad guys can just enter the gala without anyone noticing they literally still look like themselves is pretty wild. The chemistry is also really good between the crew, but also between Wolf and Diane, although I appreciate the crew's one more than Wolf and Diane. Maybe this is just me, but it feels like in media, as of recently, there are less friend groups that actually feel real and not just forced. At the very least, more than there are for romantic relationships. So for the movie to tick both chemistries is very impressive and is a pleasant surprise. Last thing to note is that the soundtrack is impeccable. Daniel Pemberton did a really good job with it. Most of it really gets my blood pumping. The Crimson Paws theme sort of reminds me of Lego Ninjago, mostly because of the beginning. Although my favorite track has to be Brand New Day, which feels like cheating. So if we are not counting it, it will be Go Tonight And if we do not count that as well, it's either Sad Cat or the last part of Double Crossed. While the movie may have a lot of positives, it also has many downs. The redemption only feels earned for Wolf and not the others in the crew. The training montage is terrible, only showing 3 scenes and that's it. The next thing is they save the guinea pigs, get scolded, and then Wolf rescues the cat. That's literally it. The other characters in the crew did absolutely nothing at all, and for some reason, they all get the good sensation of being good when Snake gives Shark the push pop, which makes no sense in the context of the movie, given how it is supposed to only happen when you are the one who does the good, not when you observe someone else being good. But it's weird. You could technically say it's because Snake is the worst one out of them, and to see him do something good makes them believe they can be more than they are, which would explain their tails wagging. One easy way to fix all of this would have been to add more to the training montage. The first few scenes, the crew are terrible at being good, but over time, they start to mellow out and have slight doubts about continuing to fake being good, but still go with the plan, ignoring those doubts up until the push pop scene. It would also help out a lot to develop Shark, Piranha, and Tarantula's characters more. There frankly is not enough dialogue nor scenes of them that can put them on the same level as Wolf, Snake, and Diane, and it would not ruin the pace. Now, I specifically did not mention Marmalade simply because he's serviceable. Frankly, an uninteresting villain. The whole I put up the front that I am a good guy, but I'm actually bad works for the movie, but he has little to no depth at all. Just here we go, big, or I should say, small evil bad guy doing bad things. The reporter Fluffy does speak about how he stopped wars and such, so you may tell yourself, okay, he's actually not that evil. But one could wave that as him lying or how he actually started the war, profiteering from it, but there really is no indication of that. You have to fill it in yourself. One thing I did not talk about with the art style is how the humans look, and it's really bad. It's basically just cal arts, but in 3D, and it's like I said, it looks really ugly. Even for the police chief, Misty, she does not look good. It's as if all their efforts went to the anthropomorphic animals, making them unable to actually make good looking stylized humans. I mean, the only somewhat good looking one is Bubbles, but it's still pretty mediocre in my opinion. Also, before continuing on to the ugly, there are in total 3 fart jokes. Yes, it's a DreamWorks movie, so expect there to be potty humor. They somehow do not understand why it works in Shrek, but does not work in any other movie. It's baffling, really. At first, I tried excusing it by saying, oh, it weaves into the plot line, but like, you could have done something else instead of the fart jokes. The butt jokes sort of caught me off guard.
And welcome to the first day of the rest of your best life.
A giant butt!
Huh? It's not a butt.
Yeah, my humor was thoroughly stripped down by Instagram reels, and that started all the way back in June 6th of 2022. I do not regret it though, as there is also a plethora of anti-cement and racist memes. Great way to transition into it because of the fact that Diane Foxington is the best heister of all time. Yes, a woman holds that title, and no, it's not just because she's sly, which would be sort of acceptable. It's also because she can easily fight off many people, as seen in her introduction in the Succum prison department. Succum standing for Super Ultra Crazy Max. Basically a prison for the worst criminals, so following that logic, the guards should have extensive training. But she still beats them all. And by all, I mean a couple hundred guards, probably around 200. That is not all though. with the fact that she is the one that helps the crew redeem themselves, having her be the savior that gets the crew out of their immoral ways. Sure, she was bad with her being an ex-thief, but as I have said before, she was the best thief and still is. It should have been obvious given the screenwriter is an evil man. If you know, you know. Surprised he didn't go all the way and make her demean the crew, so that's a plus. It also makes sense with the chief of police also being a woman, but given how crazy she is, it is a little bit better compared to Diane. There is also the abundance of black background humans making up around like 40%. I am not specific because I am not autistic, so I won't count every character, and also because I do not have time to waste. Two last things left for me to talk about in this chapter. One, the climate change thing.
I can't believe I voted for her.
You voted for her?
What? She's good on climate change.
If you do not know about climate change, it is simply just fear mongering to stop you from having children, mostly, but also to force you into a bugman like life, like the Japanese workforce goes through every day. And two, Lily Singh voices Tiffany Fluffit. Yes, that one YouTuber who hates white people, especially white men. That should not come as a shock. She is a textbook progressive woman. She has also made videos such as a therapy session for homophobic people or a geography class for racist people. Both of these videos are pretentious and don't really have any sort of good argument presented as to why quote-unquote homophobia is wrong or how racism is wrong. The video just calls them stupid and explains to them while insulting them throughout the video, my opinions are common sense, yours are close-minded, and that's bad. She does not seek to understand why people are homophobic or racist, but in fact just fuels it by her demeanor. As seen in the homophobic therapy video, she calls out Christianity as false because it is too old. Science and facts are more modern.
Here's what I think the problem is. You feel entitled to such an extent that you think you can dictate people's lives. You and everyone else that's gonna leave a hate comment underneath this video. To prove your point, you pick pieces of ancient text and ignore facts and figures from today. People with human compassion, critical thinking skills, and at least one hobby to fill their time don't really care if two men are dating. They're too busy doing things. And I know it's scary, but if you opened your mind half as much as you opened your mouth, we'd all be in a better place.
And in the other one, she mocks people for thinking that immigrants will steal jobs, even though that is what they were going to be used for and are used for.
You may recognize some of these countries we're flying over as places immigrants come from to steal your jobs, or just the same countries you steal oil from.
Also, she is a bisexual Aryan. What I am trying to get at here is that actors that dare call out the disrespect and other violence immigrants bring to a country in a respectful way will get turned down from many roles, compared to Lily being disrespectful while saying the kosher approved opinions. Seeing her in the bad guys was confusing on many aspects. They could have chosen other people to fill in the energetic reporter role, but I digress. To conclude the video, The Bad Guys is a great movie. I really enjoyed watching it even if this is my 4th time in a year. I do hope to see more and better in the future. And yes, I did watch The Bad Guys too. After I finished writing The Ugly, that is. And you'll see what I think of it in 3 days, maybe. Anyways, I do love this film, certainly one of my favorites, even if it isn't groundbreaking. And with the progressive elements as well. Sort of like Metal Gear Solid 3. Good game, even with the boss being a very obvious girl boss. Although Diane is much better, since she never fought while being pregnant. What I am trying to say is you can still enjoy things even if they have progressive elements in it. But for those that are entirely repulsed by it, I can see where they come from. I still like Diane's character even with all of it, if I were to be honest. Although it would be nice to see Wolf getting better than her in fighting over time. Maybe in The Bad Guys 3, who knows? I for one would not hold my breath. DreamWorks has a reputation of always messing up the third installment of a series. Would also be funny if you were to compare it with Payday. And yes, I know Payday the Heist is much better than Payday 2, so the second movie should have been worse, but just focus on the third, okay? I'm not wishing it to be bad, mind you, just thought it would be funny if it happened. Now, yes, important part of every review, the score. Objectively, the movie is a 7 out of 10, but I personally found it to be an 8 out of 10. I can see why people would not like it with how many times your suspension of disbelief is trialed, but come on, it's cartoony on purpose. It's not bad dumb fun, it's ridiculous, in a fun way. Also, about Ginga Nagareboshi Gin, Morshu was also the one that recommended it to me. I will review it and its sequel, Ginga Densetsu Wido, next year. I promise. I honestly only talked about it because I just finished the sequel 2 days ago, as I write this on the 29th of August. I really have not much else to say except, well, this heist took me whatever number is on screen of tries, and again, on screen, the amount of time I spent on it. There's probably more details on the screen about how many times I failed simply because of the vault door alarm, but I'll just have to see while I'm editing later. Hope the gameplay isn't as mediocre as last video, or as bad as the stories video. I was unlucky with my editing software messing up the gameplay recordings. It would have been fixed if not for the fact I edited the video on the night of the 14th of August. Or is it the night of the 15th? You get me, right? Anyways, recording stories wasn't as much of a mess as it was with Cyber Sleuth though. It really sucks with how it regularly messes up the footage. Most likely only because this game was released on a PSP. I truly dread having to review it. Don't worry though, I'll be fine. It will only be ever so slightly annoying. This script was certainly the most fun to write out of the 3 I have done. I expected Digimon to be the one, but I did not really have much to say about the film. It was good, nothing special, most of it fine. The ending of the bad guy certainly helped with how fun the script writing of it was, or I should specify, the brand new day track performed by the Heavy. No, not that Heavy. Listen to it, it's really good. Well, I do not have anything else to add, and I would not like to pad out this video any longer. I have wasted enough of your time. At the time of this video being uploaded, tomorrow will be a brand new day. Funny, you know, I would have loved to play the track, but it's copyrighted. Also, the send-off was mostly addressed to my good guys. Friends, basically. I was just making a reference to the movie. Anywho, Shabbat Shalom, my fellow whites. God bless you, and have a good day.